Hey everyone. I was asked by a bunch of different people about this Jumpstart set and the best way to go. And instead of having the same conversation half a dozen times, I figured I'd just make a video and get some of my thoughts out there and maybe sort some of my thoughts out as I go through it. Basically, it's 2020, man. Like, this is a crazy year. There are supply issues all over the place. The logistics of getting things from the factory to the end user are really difficult in the best of times, and companies are really good at it, but this is a difficult time, and things are just not getting done quite up to what we've grown accustomed to. So the release of this product, I have literally 3 booster boxes of this. It is a joke. I mean, that is just like enough for a handful of friends to be, having a weekend playing with this new set. So I expect that'll be gone really fast. Already moved through a ton of it. Not a ton. It wasn't very much to begin with. My allocation was pathetic, as was everybody's. And the question is, do you use this product now? Do you shuffle these up, have fun with it right now, or do you wait until August? And that's just time preference. If you ask someone out on a date and they say, yeah, sure, how about 10 years from now? You're not like, yes. It's like, no, time preference matters. Like, now is better than 10 years from now. And by degrees, now is better than August. So that's really the situation with Jumpstart, is what do you value the delay for? It's one of those, perhaps it's an instant gratification thing. Perhaps your friends are in town and they're not going to be around in August or September, whenever the reprint actually arrives. So that's really what we've got, is kind of a time preference situation. I expect the reprint to come out. I think if you're an investor, you definitely do not want to be buying this right now. I think eventually it's very likely you'll be able to mark out a position in this product and get enough of it for a long-term prospect. I will not be surprised at all to see this long-term be a $200 booster box. I think we've seen that with, Battle Bond is, $2 to $230, somewhere in that range at a lot of stores. Demand's really high on it. As a store, I can pack that stuff out all day. Like, people are super happy to pick up packs of Battle Bond at their current market price to make their Chaos drafts unique and fun. So I think what we're seeing right now with Jumpstart is the supply is super short, and I'm going to kind of go over it from a few different possible perspectives. So as a store, you pretty much just sell people what they want. If people ask me about my opinion, so I'm giving it here. But, if people aren't asking me, I'm not telling them. If somebody wants to come in and buy a box at the current price, I'm not going to discourage them. That's not my place. I think if somebody's going to ask about the financial side, or if they have certain goals or certain values, I'm always happy to have that conversation and figure out kind of the best way for them to acquire product, or the best schedule, or the best way for them to spend their money. But I'm not in the business of preaching at people about the way that I handle things, because the way I do things is different than everyone anyways. When I was out there in the field playing Magic all the time, bouncing around New England, taking trips to Europe, I was trading constantly. And I'll tell you, without a doubt, if it was in the middle of a pandemic and I was still a backpacker, I would have been going crazy this weekend with this set. Yes, the packs would be more expensive, but the singles are more expensive, and I would be out there trading, turning stuff over absolutely like crazy. We're talking about cards like Allosaurus Shepard here, which is like $60-$70 right now. And it reminds me a little bit of old school vintage. Back in the day, the people that had the Moxes, the Power, Ancestral Time Walk, Time Twister wasn't that good back then, but Black Lotus Moxes, you were at an advantage, and a weak player with power was kind of on the same footing as a strong player without power. But a strong player with power, I mean, they were probably winning the tournament. And that's the type of thing that we may see here with Allosaurus Shepard in the short term. Is, if you're a savage elf pilot and you're able to navigate the waters with Plague Engineer and Liliana the Last Hope and all the things that the metagame has thrown at you, and if you've been winning the whole time, you're probably not dominating, but still, like, if you are able to put up results and, top 8 big tournaments, win occasional, tournaments in your area, man, this is a powerful new tool for your deck, and expect to get some percentage points over other elf pilots right now, because this thing is just insane. And, you know, Mucus is the same way. Mucus for Goblin players. We actually had a match with the Goblin King himself this past Friday, first day that it was legal, and he cracked 2 Muckuses in the box that he opened, like a Goblin King should, and sure enough, I mean, this is a big boy. He's a 4/4, can't be lightning bolted, can't be abrupt decayed, can't be fatally pushed, doesn't really care about Plague Engineer, and just massive card advantage. I mean, he's just ridiculous. So this card's going to help out those Goblin pilots. I don't know what the right number is. I think the Allosaurus Shepard is more likely to be a lower quantity in the deck. Doesn't really do that much on its own, aside from the overrun effect, which requires a bunch of mana and other elves. And you can potentially Green Sun Zenith for it as well. Muckus, on the other hand, I mean, right now I guess they're running a couple of copies, but we'll see. I mean, it's possible that this guy could be good enough to push that deck toward Warren Instigator territory, where you're just like intentionally like Turbo Muckus, just trying to bomb him, and you know, maybe they end up running Caracas to bounce him and then to replay him. So who knows? I mean, this guy just does it all, and you know, if you want to play with him right now, there's a premium for that, and that's okay. Like it really is a time preference thing. Not every possible move in Magic has to be about the long term. Sometimes you make short-term plays. Now, I was ordering some singles for some very good customers. They needed about $1,000 worth of cards for a couple of different decks, and I had almost everything, and I was picking up just a handful of other cards for them, and I've got some different vendors that I deal with when I fill in the gaps, and you know, one of them I ended up coming up short in the shopping cart, didn't get free shipping. It was just slightly suboptimal. And it's like, you know what? It's going to be like $5 shipping. I'm literally losing money on this, but you just have to keep moving forward. Like you make little mistakes. And I think right now, Jumpstart is kind of like that. Like if you pay a little bit of a premium on this in the short term, that is not going to be the difference long term in between you having an incredible collection and the access that a great manager of their Magic choices ends up with. Like you can end up with the dual lands, you can end up with everything in Legacy if you are disciplined and if you make good choices over the long haul. And a single decision doesn't really reflect that. You know, if this leads, this is essentially a gamble. If you're I don't even want to call it a gamble. If you're a really good player and you think this is going to increase your odds of winning in the short term, it may literally pay for itself. And that's a decision that we all have to make. So overall, I think if you're looking for stuff like Allosaurus Shepard, if you're looking for things like Muckus, picking up this product, I think is fairly reasonable. You've got a pretty solid chance of getting these cards. And if you are around other people that are also opening Jumpstart, it is a lot easier to trade with them. If you look at them like they're morons for spending a few extra dollars per pack, and you're kind of looking down your nose at them, people pick up on that. So if you're a backpacker, join in the fun. Get down in there in the trenches, play, have fun, and then trade people for the cards that you need. That's how I did it, and that's how I got to here with the stores. You know, you play in the community, you're part of it. It's not some act. Like you actually just go and have fun. And if prices are a little high in the short term, it is what it is. But I may be repeating myself there. There are a few other cards for Commander that fit the bill as well. Tiny Bone, Trinket Thief. People are super excited about him for the Commander tables, and Bruvac, I think you say it that way, has persistent petitioners flying off the shelves. There's all sorts of fun commander decks that we may see with these guys. So, yeah, same thing. If you really want to get this rolling, waiting a month or two, I mean, it's not a guarantee. But, you know, if you're not in a huge rush and you want to wait till the end of the year, I can also respect that. I think cards like Thriving Isle are going to be great for Pauper. I don't necessarily think that you need to go out and buy Jumpstart for your Pauper decks, but keep it in mind, if there are people in your area that are in on Jumpstart, they may be willing to trade you these Thriving Isles. They're probably 50 cents to $1 worth of trades, and these really can smooth out the mana bases in Pauper. It's an excellent addition, probably the best dual land that we have in Pauper. The default position right now for duals is especially for like multicolor decks. Like when we're talking about like a multicolor control deck, not just a dual color deck, but something that you're potentially balancing 2 or 3 main colors with maybe up to 5 total. This can really do a ton of good for your mana base, and is much better than, like the Caves of Temptation, I believe it is, the one that filters. If you don't need that 2+1/+1 counters, I think this ends up being much better. And even, I believe some decks were still running like Shimmering Grove and those other filter lands just to have like 5, like they had 4 caves and then an additional one. And I think these are likely going to end up being a replacement for that, just because you're able to get whatever color mana you need, and it doesn't set you back a mana by needing to filter. The Rhystic Study, this type of thing, I actually don't think it's a great idea to be buying Jumpstart for this type of card. They're already in the market. If you really like want a Rhystic Study, just, hit me up. I got tons of them. Like, there are, wherever you are, I'm not sure. I'm in New England, so we're super fortunate, but hopefully you have a backpacker or LGS that can handle your needs like Rhystic Study. If not, you can always message me. I don't have my singles inventory online, but we do ship to people all over the world. But yeah, things like Rhystic Study, not really a great idea to be buying packs to try and find the reprints, in my estimation. Those will be going down in value as this eventually makes it out to market, and it's already available. It's widely available. They're not hard to get. So I'm not huge on the reprint trade. Though if you're a backpacker, you can be scooping this stuff up and turning it over and churning, which is really how you make all your money. My last thought on this is, when I heard about this, I thought it might be cool to give people kind of a basis for like legacy decks. So like there's Exhume, Reanimate, Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt. If these decks were structured where you got like 2 Lightning Bolts and 2 Chain Lightnings in the same burn deck, then that would kind of add some extra value, where it's like, oh yeah, if you're a new legacy player, go ahead, get in on this Jumpstart, have a blast. It really is a fun product, and you might end up cracking, some of these cards, which can be the backbone for a legacy deck. You start to get your Chain Lightnings, your Lightning Bolts. Chain Lightning was actually overall probably the most difficult card to keep in stock, as we had this first year growing the store. A lot of people buy burn decks as their first legacy deck, and Chain Lightning was one of those cards, also for Pauper, that I had to keep getting in, kind of like constantly throwing extra money at it when I see it in people's trade binders, because you got to pay a premium on it sometimes to keep them coming in, to keep up with that demand, because people are buying them in play sets constantly. So this product, I don't think, really addresses that. The deck has a single Chain Lightning, a single Lightning Bolt in the other one. You're not really going to be building a deck off of these. It's very possible you're just going to keep your Jumpstart decks together and just kind of play with them as is. There are some people that are actually building cubes out of this product. I've sold a bunch of sleeves for people doing that, where they're actually just stickering which set they come from. So they got like a little red dot to put on on the perfect fit on the inside for each of the cards from each deck. So it's like, if they got 12 different things, they've got 12 different sets of stickers, and the cube is just going to be, kind of reconstituting, reshuffling those up. So that's a cool way to play it as well. So hopefully I didn't ramble too long for you guys. Just wanted to get some of my thoughts out there. In short, if you're a backpacker, get out there, turn stuff over, have fun, and move fast, because when August or September comes and these prices adjust, you're going to want to have gotten these to the people that really value having them right now. Those values on those cards represent time preference. A $70 Allosaurus rider is all about the person saying, yeah, I'll take it right now at that price, but if you were getting it to me by the end of the year, get out of here. It's not going to be $70. So make sure you take care of the people in your area that want the cards right now and are willing to pay the premium. Make it happen. Don't sleep on this one, and just have a lot of fun with it. If you're a casual player and you're really going to value playing with this, same thing. If you're an investor and you're looking to keep this thing sealed, now is not the time. I could end up being wrong. The whole shipment, the warehouse might burn down, and this might be the only printing we ever see. This could end up being, $300 a box, just like that. But I really don't anticipate that. That would be a bizarre turn of events. And the reality is, Wizards of the Coast is in the business of printing cards and making money. Expect a lot of this. I'm going to be buying a ton of the reprint when it becomes available because this set is just a ton of fun, and I'd love for people to be able to just grab a couple of booster packs, hop in, play some games. The way Magic was kind of intended, just casual games for fun. Doesn't have to be a tournament, though who knows, maybe we'll do tournaments as well, because playing with something on the line can also be a lot of fun. But that's it. If you have any thoughts on this set, leave them in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think about Jumpstart, and as always, thanks for watching.